Hello and welcome to my video on social coding with GitHub. GitHub and social coding are powerful tools and methodologies for managing software projects. They can be used to manage small snippets of code all the way up to large software projects. Before I get into what GitHub is, I would first like to recommend an excellent book on DevOps and configuration management, otherwise known as social coding. It is the Enterprise DevOps Playbook written by Haluk Saker, Jimmy Pham, and Bill Ott of Booz Allen Hamilton. This book is available online for free and as an ebook, and it's a guide to delivering at velocity. The link to this book is in the show notes, and this book covers configuration management, which I call social coding. And this configuration management section deals with the GitHub workflow, which I'll be covering as part of this video, and is an excellent resource for not only learning about configuration management and social coding, but also learning about DevOps in general. Once again, I can't recommend it more highly. So here we are. We're here to talk today about GitHub. And GitHub is a social coding platform that uses the Git protocol, which was invented by Linus Torvalds to manage the Linux kernel project. And it leverages leverages Git in a very interesting way. And it adds a social aspect to it, a social networking aspect to it. And how does this surface? Well, in GitHub, you have followers, you have people you're following, and these are mostly my colleagues and people I know from F5 networks. And you have projects, and the projects can have contributors and people that you can communicate with as part of the software development process. And as I mentioned in my introduction, you can use GitHub to distribute anything. You could use it to distribute Word documents. You could use it to distribute code. You could use it to distribute snippets of code. You could use it to distribute in version control, just about any artifact that you can think of. And it's very powerful. And as part of the GitHub project, there's a methodology for managing your repository, your software repository, managing your software projects, and it's called the Github Flow. And I'm going to be walking you through the Github Flow today as part of the project to describe GitHub. And there's a GitHub Flow 5-minute read that's available on GitHub guides.github.com, and this is in the show notes as well. And basically what you do is you branch a project, which I'm going to be covering, and then you make your modifications, and then you issue what is called a pull request. And the pull request is a request for modifications, a request to make modifications. And the GitHub Flow is the predominant way that people interact with GitHub today for managing their software development projects. And as part of the of learning about GitHub Flow, there's also a wonderful resource from Open Tech School. And Open Tech School has a class, it's about an hour, on social coding with GitHub. And this is also in the show notes. So there's the book, Enterprise DevOps Playbook. There's the 5-minute read on GitHub Flow. And then there's the social coding with GitHub, which are all in the show notes and which are all resources for you to learn about how to utilize GitHub. And so why do I kind of focus so much on learning GitHub? Well, to be honest, I really struggled to learn it. I had trouble learning Git, and it was difficult for me. And what it was primarily was that I was only interacting with it using the command line. And the command line is wonderful and fast and powerful. However, it did not let me visualize GitHub accurately. It did not let me visualize the Git workflow accurately. What I needed was a desktop tool. And GitHub produces desktop.github.com, which is also in the show notes. And desktop.github.com represents the changes and the modifications and the branching and the pull requests that you're making to as you modify software and use your software project. And this desktop.github.com is very powerful. there's a master branch of your software, and we can see that on this timeline up here at the top. This is a very active project of mine called Ansible_F5, and Ansible_F5 currently has over 212 commits, and so we can see that in this history within the desktop .github.com tool. And we can just scroll down, and we can keep scrolling down, and we keep scrolling down, and it goes on for a long, long time. And there's just all these updates that I've made as part of the software development project. And in the right-hand pane, we can see what the changes were that were made. So in this one, I added spaces in between some Ansible lines. So these are reflected, and then I saved it and made a change to the master branch. But the typical way that people interact with GitHub is they create a new branch, and so I'm going to call this one dev video, and it creates a new branch, and this new branch branches down from the master branch, and then this is where we're going to do all of our work. And well, what are we going to use to do all of our work? We're going to use the Atom tool, and Atom is a hackable text editor. It's also part of the GitHub project. It's also part of the GitHub ecosystem. And it's a text editor for managing and modifying your software projects. So I'm going to start up the text editor, and what you'll notice right off the bat is my Ansible_F5 has the dev video branch. And so the GitHub Atom tool is aware of what branch you're on. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna modify the Ansible.config file. That's the file that I'm gonna be modifying. I'm gonna add 2 $, or maybe 3, and then I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save the changes that I just made. And these changes are reflected in the Atom config as a change to the branch. And so there's +3 lines right here. It's telling me there's +3 lines. And if I go back to the desktop tool, I can see that there's a new change. This new change has been found, and this new change has 3 comments in it. And then I'm going to save this change that I made by saying added 3 £. And then I'm going to add a description for the video. I added 3 £, to Ansible.config. And then I'm going to commit this change. And this committed change then gets pushed up to the dev video branch up on GitHub. And we can see that by going to this dev video branch right here. And now we're on the dev video branch, and we can see that the Ansible config now has 3 £, in it. And this is different than master. Master does not have any £. So we have this change that we've done in master, and we've pushed to the GitHub website. Well, so in order to merge this change back into master, what we do is we create a pull request. And this pull request uses the comment and uses the description that I just created, and we can send this pull request up to the GitHub website, and we have this pull request created. You can view it and I can click on this link, and this link then brings me to the pull request. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say merge the pull request. I'm going to say confirm the merge, and then what it does is it pulls in that merge request, and then I'm going to delete the branch from the GitHub. The dev video branch can safely be deleted. I'm going to delete this branch from the GitHub website, and it's gone now. And we can go back into the Ansible_F5. We're on master, and if we go to Ansible config, we're going to see there's 3 £, that have been added. So what we did is by issuing that pull request, we sucked in the changes that we made under the dev video branch. And now what we can do is we can delete that GitHub that dev video branch. And the way I'm going to do that is by using my trusty command line, and I'm going to issue a git branch -d dev video. We're currently still logged in. This error message means is we're currently still logged into the dev branch, and so we just need to change and get out of the dev video branch by going back into the desktop and going to master. We're now in master, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do that git branch -d for delete dev video, and then deleted branch dev video, and then what we can see is that's no longer available to us in the branches. It's no longer branches. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a sync, and we're going to sync that pull request. This is the pull request with the information that we created, and we suck down the changes that we made to the Ansible under .config config file. And so what if we wanted to reverse this? What we would do is we would do the exact same process to reverse the changes that we made. We would create a new branch right here with the branch, and we call it dev unvideo. Now we have this new branch, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Atom, and I'm going to remove these pound signs. I'm going to click on Save, and then I'm going to go into the desktop config, and I'm going to say remove pound size. Remove pound size from Ansible.config. And it's publishing those changes. And then what we can do is we can do a pull request. We can request to have those changes pulled back into the master branch. That's what the pull request refers to. It's pulling the changes back into the master branch, and then it just merged those changes. And then we can delete the branch, and then we can go back into our desktop, and we can go to master, and we can sync it and get the latest change, pull request number 39, which is in red, which has deleted them. And then we can delete that branch from the command line, git branch -d dev unvideo, and it deletes the branch. And so we're good. We just created and modified and managed the Git flow, which is a very important piece of managing software in today's social coding universe. And I just wanted to say thank you for everyone for listening to me talk about social coding today. And if you have any questions, please reach out to t.mcgonagall@f5.com. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you at Agility 2017. Have a great day. Bye-bye.